Good
Hello.
evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this month's Recce Report. I am former Army Corporal Cliff Purvis.
And I'm former Army Warrant Officer Russ Denny. And welcome to this 20th episode of the Recce Report on this fine Monday, the 8th of January, 2024. Happy New Year, everyone.
And that officially stops as of next week. Righty. Again, Russ, where do we start? In any functioning democracy, we would be having a general election now, and the parties of independence would be sweeping the board. But unfortunately, we live in a very dysfunctional autocracy headed up by the dysfunctional family down in Buckingham Palace. Where do you want to start, Russ?
Well, you mentioned Buckingham Palace, mate. They're obviously. I hear there's a new poll out about the state of the monarchy. Are they? Are we in Britain, Scotland, England, Ireland, Northern Wales, Northern Ireland and Wales, Northern Wales? Sorry, Welsh people. Are we overwhelmingly in favour of the majority now these days? What does the poll say?
It apparently came in at it was commissioned by Republic. And it was a UK-wide poll, and it's come in at about 48% in favour of the monarchy, I believe.
Okay, so 52 against and 48 for.
And as we know, with referendums, if that was put to a referendum, we would now be getting rid of our monarchy.
Yeah.
If it was getting reported correctly. If the press, such as we have in this country, and remember, most newspapers are controlled by 3 different groups. That's all. If you follow the tree line up, it comes to a head at 3 different groups. If they were reporting on the monarchy, for example, as they did for the alleged misappropriation of funds within the Scottish National Party, if they gave it that type of reporting, then I think there would be crowds outside Buckingham Palace, and they'd be calling for to get rid of Charles and his family. But we don't have that level of reporting.
Well, I think you're right, mate. And we mentioned before this, the whole thing about the post office scandal, where thousands of postmasters and postmistresses were wrongly accused of fiddling the books. Some went to jail, some died, some committed suicide because of the pressures. And there was obviously the recent thing, they did the dramatisation of it. And suddenly there's an inquiry. Suddenly they're going to do something about it. And so when people say that media is not important, you have to look at the fact that Rishi Sunak now's got off his arse, and he's now promised that there'll be a further inquiry into the whole Horizon Postmaster scandal. It shouldn't take a dramatisation on BBC or ITV or whatever it was to prompt action from the government.
No, but UK governments, regardless of their colour, have been notorious for dragging their heels at any inquiry. I mean, you can go all the way back to what the veterans had to put up with the atomic bomb testing out in Australia. Sorry, Australia, but the UK government really did love you that much. We'll go and test all our A-bombs out there. Because before it went to Australia, it was going to be tested off the northeast coast of Scotland, off the town of Wick. They were going to do it. That's up where I'm from. But they decided no, that was a bit too close, so they'll go out to Australia and do it. But obviously, anything the UK does is obviously done on a shoestring, and they weren't exactly looking after the people out on the test sites. So there's quite a few of them succumbed to radiation-related illnesses, and of course they've dragged their heels in getting the compensation, the quite just compensation out to these people, and basically they just wait for them to die. They did the same with thalidomide, when the poor people were born with the malformed limbs, etc., etc. The government was in denial about that. So the UK government does not pay out money. Sunak is in an election year, and the only reason that he is now saying he was the Chancellor that put up the money to compensate these people is because he's trying to get every single vote he can.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same reason why they broadcast that the cut in national insurance. They've taken 2% off the national insurance rate. And we spoke before that actually what's happened is because while the budget has not changed any of the tax bands rates, so it's been £12,500 for about 5 years now. And if that had moved in line with inflation, then that would have been fine. But actually, what the 2% cut in national insurance means is that you're now only 8% worse off rather than 10% than you were previously. And we mentioned, and obviously the SNP have also released the SNP government, Scottish government, have released their new tax band, which is the 45p rate for those earning over £75,000. I mean, atrocious. How are us poor people supposed to scrape by on only £75,000 a year, Cliff? I don't know.
Well, and they keep, again, going back to what the press is like, they keep announcing every time the Scottish government, the legally elected Scottish government, exercises its legal powers in tax and the tax adjustment as it's allowed to do. The papers then cry out about this exodus of people from Scotland.
Yeah.
I have not seen any evidence for that at all.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And who's been particularly adept at that this week has been Scottish Conservative list MSP, Stephen Kerr. For those of you who don't know, he is, he's just a mess, isn't he? But he's been all over social media, effectively lambasting the SNP for any tax fix, while completely ignoring anything that the Westminster government have done. And that's why we have a special presentation for Stephen Kerr this week. This week he is our
Yes, he is the very first Unit of the Week.
Unit of the Week. So we were going to do a Unit of the Month, but to be fair, there's so many of them, they change so quickly. We're going to go for a week. So for those of you who are tuning in, whether that's live or whether you're catching up some other time, please feel free to send in your nominations via our Facebook page or on the comments on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube for the Unit of the Week next month. And if you're lucky, the big prize for yours being chosen will be our undying gratitude.
Yes. Yes. Getting back to Stephen Kerr, he is, I think, the beacon. If anybody wants a reason why Scotland should become an independent nation, why we need to sever ties with Westminster, albeit apart from trade agreements, as an independent country, if they want to know the best reason possible, then look towards Stephen Kerr, because it doesn't matter what is being pushed out by the Scottish government. He sits there, he totally ignores the Johnson administration, the May administration, Truss's 49 days of chaos, and of course smarmy Sunak's resurgent as the friendly guy next door, reinventing David Cameron's career. That's how poor they are. But this Stephen Kerr totally blanks all that and just launches into the SNP government. To be fair, yes.
I suppose you've got to give him some credit, mate. The Tories have managed to find a Tory MSP that actually makes Murdo Fraser look quite moderate.
Yes. Trying to make Douglas Ross feel competent.
Yeah, We've got a wee comment here from Hashby. Says, please comment on energy companies being allowed to install compulsory prepayment meters. As far as I'm aware, they've been trying to do that for a while. It's an imposition. The whole energy company thing as well. The gas is now at the lowest price it's been for a long time, and yet the prices are not coming down. It's a monopoly. Remember, I'm a certain age. Remember Telcid when when they sold off all British gas, and it was supposed to be and all of these things have just gone on to make billions of pounds in profit for private investors. And that's what they do. That's what Maggie did. That's what the Tories like to do. And if you think they haven't got their beady eyes, their sticky fingers on things like Scottish Water and the NHS, then I've got a bridge I want to sell you.
Yeah,
because it's not about doing what's best for the country, for these people.
No, they just want to earn money or get their mates to earn money, and they get backhanders from that. Yeah. We've seen enough evidence with those that have been promoted, allegedly promoted into the House of Lords. You look at them, and they're not there because of their incisive minds. They're there because they have greased the palms of people to get in there. And there's a certain baroness and her husband eventually becoming under police investigation now, and that's an ongoing event, so we have to be careful what we say there. But again, nowhere near the level of press coverage as what was happening with the Scottish National Party. We will never ever get a straight bat. The Westminster will never play with a straight bat when it comes to the independence campaign. They will do everything they can to destroy the campaign. And negative reporting is that they have played a blinder on this one, because we're now seeing slumps in the polls. We are probably looking at the Scottish National Party have taken a fair hit in the next general election towards the amount of MPs returned. We can't afford that. We cannot afford to lose any Scottish National Party MPs in Westminster, because the next target for Westminster will be Holyrood. And
it's what they're doing. The truth is, the SNP certainly have been in, they've been in power in Scotland now since
2007, buddy.
2007, 2007. So no, is it 2007?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you know what? I'm looking at the time, which says 2013. And I'm thinking, they've been in longer than 6 years. I've lost a decade, folks. I don't know what's going on here. It's not 2013, is it? It's 2024. Sorry, 17 years. Oh, mate, too many biscuits AB in my ration pack, mate. That's my problem growing up.
For anybody out there that's never sampled the great delights of biscuits AB, you're lucky.
I'll swap you for some biscuits fruit. Sorry, 17 years. So it's not surprising, actually, that, in fact, what is surprising is they've not had a hit before now. I suppose they did the last general. Yeah, thanks, Evelyn. It's old age, she says.
Yes, it doesn't come easy, Evelyn. Yes, of course, any party that's been in power for long enough eventually starts to take a hit. We're unfortunate because there's no other party currently set up to deliver Scotland its independence. And this is why we've got to hold the Scottish National Party. We've got to keep them honest. They're down there in Westminster for one reason and one reason only, and that's to get Scottish independence. We should be keeping them honest about that. I am, as I've said before, a member of the Scottish National Party. I firmly believe that only they can deliver this independence campaign for Scotland. People have got to lend their vote. I'm fully aware that I'm asking you yet again to lend a vote to the Scottish National Party, but we've got to do it. We've got to return as many of the Scottish National Party as possible, because if anybody else gets returned, that will be seen as support falling away from the Scottish National Party. Westminster doesn't even entertain the Greens or Alba Party. It's anything they're attacking, they always attack the Scottish National Party.
Yeah.
And there has to be a reason behind that, because they see the Scottish National Party as the threat.
Yeah. And just to add to that, and if you support independence and you want to vote for another independent supporting party like the Greens or Alba, to do that, and that's fine, that's your democratic right. But if the SNP, drop power, drop vision, drop awareness, drop out of sight, then we're going to be waiting another 30 years. Because that's how long it's taken the SNP. Well, longer. I mean, the SNP first kind of came in late 60s. They had their first MP. So it's taken them 60 years to get to a point where they're actually almost. I mean, we got within touching distance of it before the referendum. Any other party that's going to come in has to contend with that. So not only gain support, not only take votes away from the unionist parties, but take votes away from the SNP as well. And in order for that to happen, then independence is going to be off the agenda for a decade or two at least.
Yeah,
I hate saying that, but that's my opinion.
That's the type of year we're in, Russ.
Yeah,
and I've been saying this for
this is why I love our viewers, mate. I'm like, when was it? And Ashbury Street in 67 Winnie Ewing. Ashbury, you're the star. I was close.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry, Russ. We all have moments. Yeah. So talking about the referendum, I've had a moment of relaxation over the last couple of days, and I've been doing some thinking. Everything that was promised that would come to pass if Scotland voted for independence has actually happened.
Yeah,
the trouble is it's happened because we're still with Westminster.
Out of the EU.
Economy's
employment,
tanked, unemployment's rife, austerity measures. Our armed forces are not fit for purpose. And I'm not here having a dig at any member of the armed forces. I will always back you up. Yeah. But by heck, your political masters these days have ruined you. Not one of the services is up to strength. The Navy has had to withdraw 2 of its amphibious ships. Yeah. Now, the Times kind of did a bit of sensational journalism on that and said that puts the Royal Marine Commandos at jeopardy. Well, they're kind of going away from that thing now. Anyway, they're in there with the Tier 1 forces now, aren't they? The Royal Marines. So they're in there with the paras and the support the special forces.
Sorry to interrupt, mate. I'd like to address this comment here by Charles. Is saying, should there be some sort of competence test for a name can be put forward as a Scottish MP or MSP to try and bridge the gap between policy and delivery? I think it's a really good question. I think ideally, yes. But the simple fact is the people that get elected are the people that put themselves forward to be elected. The only alternative to that, mate, is, put yourself forward if you think you can do a better job.
Yeah. I would have loved to have thought, and I didn't really understand much about how people get nominated until we got started doing this type of thing, Russ. And I think
sorry, again, we've got another interesting comment. We've got Alan Crowe saying the SNP are not an independence party. Well, the clue's in the name, mate, to be fair. How many mandates have been given and failed to act? That's an interesting take on it, mate. I think maybe you've got some substance to that, but what was the alternative? I'm going to turn the question around on you, right? Had it not been, what could the SNP have done differently to make that happen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
given the level of support for independence that we reckon is in Scotland at this moment in time, I can't see there have been anything. If nothing else, everything's been ruled out. We're now left with what has been said here is that it's this general election or bust, basically.
Yeah. We've got a few people in tonight. I might be a little silly here, but did the SNP not tell us to vote SNP 1, SNP 2, knowing that will allow the Tories in? They got the majority. They got the SNP got the majority of seats in Scotland. There's like in Westminster, there's like one Labour MP and what couple of Tories. So I'm not sure that. So I'm not sure that kind of let the Tories in.
Yeah, the SNP 1 and 2 thing was for Holyrood, not Westminster.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Oh, of course it was. Sorry, senior moment again. Yeah. Well, it's done on the De Hoyt system. De Hoyt, am I saying that right?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, the truth is, I think I actually worked this out at the time of the general election, time of the Scottish election. Sorry, and and the other independent supporting parties, even with SNP 1 and 2 would have gained maybe 1, possibly 2 seats. So it wouldn't have made a vast amount of difference on that respect. Maybe you're thinking of, back in the early days of the Scottish Parliament, when we actually had people in there. You had what was your not Solidarity? Who was before them? The Socialist SSP, wasn't it?
Yeah,
had a couple in there.
I mean, the Scottish Greens are in there as well. We're in the coalition.
Yeah, they've done it bad.
Yeah. So yes, so we have got to knuckle down as supporters of independence. We have got to knuckle down, and we've got to keep bringing the truth. If people are asking questions about what is a Scottish Defence Force going to look like, can I ask you to go and have a look at the UK Defence Journal? The SNP spokesperson down in Westminster has put in a couple of articles there about what it's going to be looking like. So there is a move forward with that one, and I'm sticking with the veterans because this is the Recce Report. But we've got to be honest. We've got to push forward. Now, I'm an optimist, right? And I really do hope that if we apply ourselves correctly, then come the general election, whenever it is, and Sunak's bouncing the date all over the place. Personally, I think it'll still be in the summer or the spring, I should say. Even though he's saying that he's pushed it down to the autumn. But
there's a question there, mate. What do we think about Mary Black's comment that some MPs have gotten a little too comfortable in Westminster?
I think she's absolutely accurate. It's a powerful place.
You're absolutely right. You only have to see some of the people that have abandoned, maybe jump ship. And I'm thinking of the one that went Tory. Like went SNP to Tory, like how is that even? I mean, I could maybe see going a little bit kind of Greens or Lib Dems even, but from SNP to Tory, that's not a natural evolution for me. That is someone that was there. That was a career politician, I think, someone that just wanted to get in there and do that.
Which takes me back to what I said about keeping them honest. They are there for one reason and one reason only, and that's to get Scottish independence. And if that means we start doing more walkouts from the chamber, then we do more walkouts.
I'm loving the questions tonight, folks. This is brilliant. Keep them coming. So appreciate the answers. In what regard would the Scotland United approach not be the best way, regardless? Well, because we don't have Scotland United. We have the two main independent supporting parties, which are the SNP and the Greens. And I'm sorry to say this, right? But unless, and I'm assuming you're talking about Alba, and I apologise if you're not, unless they can bump up past their 2% shown in the polls, then it's going to be a wasted vote, mate. I'm sorry. And it seems to be, and Tommy Sheridan was saying the same thing, for his Solidarity Party a while back, let's share the vote. It made no difference whatsoever. They would have got 1 or 2 seats and it would not have shifted the balance of power massively. So unless you can have massive increase in membership, and maybe some broader policies, then again, this is purely my opinion.
It's all, Ross. It's all about getting elected, presenting yourself so you can be elected. And at this moment in time, there is only 2 parties in Scotland that support independence that fall into that category. It's not up to us to change party policies. It's up to the members of that party to change the policies. It's up to the members of that party to have people in place who will attract people to vote for them.
And I'm gonna say, and that's why with regards to Alba, I've got to give them some kudos, because they've said these are our policies. These are our policies. If you agree with us, then come and join and vote for us. And I love that. That's brilliant. That's what a political party should do. Unlike Labour, who'll be like, tell us what you want our policies to be so that you'll vote for us.
At
the very least, Alba and Alex Salmond have planted their flag in the sand and said, this is our manifesto. If you agree, come vote for us. Unfortunately, it's not. People are not rallying around that flag. In massive numbers.
The Labour Party are a spent. They're no longer such a thing as a Labour Party. I mean, I've said it often enough in my daily rants and on other shows. They are the new Conservative Party, as the Conservative Party have morphed into a neo-fascist party.
Hashbury's made a comment here. The SNP could stand aside in the 2 seats Alba now hold, and possibly Alex Salmond in the northeast. That's an option, Ashbury, but Alba weren't elected into those seats. I would point out. Those were SNP seats. And so even if SNP stand aside, can you guarantee that those previous SNP voters would then switch their vote to Alba? I think it's a dangerous game to play.
Yes,
but we shall see.
Talking of dangerous games to play, have you noticed our time?
I have, mate. I have. We had a whole agenda set out tonight, folks, and you know what? It's been absolutely brilliant, because you've come in with the questions. Love the questions, and you'll see that I apologise for the ones that we haven't been able to get up and answer, but you can see that we don't shy away from the difficult ones. You might not like the answers we give, but if you don't like the answers, don't ask the questions.
Whether or not you like our answers are always what we feel are honest answers. Very, very similar to 1 or 2 people. We like to think that we still have our morals about us, and what you see is what you get with myself and Russ. We've been at the mics for a few years now. I think we're into our 10th year now, Russ.
Oh, mate. See, this is why my memory's going, mate. I'm getting Alzheimer's by proxy from you, mate. That's the drama, isn't it?
I don't think that's a thing, by the way. I've been accused of many things. There's never a good solicitor about when you need one, is there? Right, yes. So we're rattling towards the half hour, and we've promised Kevin that we'd not overrun. So we can't let him down on show number 1 of the year. Kevin's our eye in the sky. He's our puppet master. He's up there. He's up there. For those of you who don't know, Kevin's the guy behind Independence Live. Him and other people as well. I'm not going to detract from that, but the guy, worked his heart and soul into this. He just posted overrun if you want. Kevin, no, you don't want that, mate. Here's a great script, by the way, Russ.
It's been panned, mate, and we got some of it in. But I love the questions, and I think it helps to kind of show bounce along.
Yes.
It's been really good. But But thank you so much, everyone, for coming tonight. We really do appreciate it. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. What we'll do, we'll have a look at those questions that we haven't been able to answer.
Yeah.
And, you know, where we can, we'll take them forward into the next show, because you guys have taken the time out from your schedules to tune into us. And that I never take for granted, same as Russ. So we will get, I think, some of these questions, get them into the script, and we'll move forward with them. You okay with that, Russ?
Yeah, unless you bring lots of different questions next time, in which case we won't have a bloody chance to do that. But yeah, that'll be awesome. No, thank you everyone for coming. If you want to, if you want to watch this again, it will be there on our Facebook page. It'll be on the Independence Live Facebook page. It'll be on the Independence Live YouTube, our YouTube. I think we might have gone out on Twitter tonight as well. I don't know. Kevin does all the magic stuff in the background. Otherwise, we'll be here on the second Monday of the month in February.
Yes. So see you guys then.
Yeah, we will. So it's Monday. It's Monday, isn't it? It's Monday. So enjoy the rest of your Monday, folks, and take care. And remember, independence is. How's it go, Cliff? The future is what? I don't know. What's the catchphrase, mate? Come on.
The future is bright. Independence is right.
That's the one. That's the one. Have a good wrath. Bye, folks.
Catch you later, guys.